Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. This video is going to explain more about what things trigger a narcissist, because a lot of people do think if they can understand what triggers a narcissist, they can stop triggering the narcissist, and this isn't as straightforward as it sounds. Thank you very much to all the returning subscribers. If you are new to the channel, this channel is all about the narcissist personality disorder, to give you more understanding of the people you might be dealing with within your life, how to handle yourself around those people, and different methods to try and help find what works for you to recover from narcissistic abuse. If you do find the information helpful on the channel, please do subscribe. So when it comes to things that trigger a narcissist anger or a narcissist rage, it's often down to their very characteristics of the disorder itself. So you're looking at anything that questions a narcissist's superiority, anything that questions their sense of entitlement, anything that questions the belief they hold that they are special or above others, anything that questions their arrogance, anything that questions their grandiosity, anything that triggers their envy, anything where the narcissist doesn't believe that they're getting the attention or the admiration that they believe they are entitled to, and anything that questions the narcissist's sense of reality, and that reality to do with their entitlement, their grandiosity, their belief that they are special, their belief that they're entitled to have what they are envious of within other people. So if someone was to point out a mistake, because we are all human, we all make mistakes, it's a part of how we learn. We do learn, unfortunately, from mistakes that we make throughout our journey in our life. So when a narcissist inevitably makes a mistake, if someone calls them out on that mistake, the narcissist then feels criticised. Because they believe themselves to be perfect, they have those grandiose fantasies of their ideal on how life should go, and anything that questions those fantasies shakes the narcissist's reality and questions the narcissist who they believe themselves to be. If the narcissist feels shamed in some way, which shatters the narcissist's ego. If the narcissist gets caught out in something or believes that people are going to question the narcissist's character, if the narcissist feels humiliated in some way, if the narcissist isn't getting the attention that the narcissist believes they deserve, which is excessive attention, the narcissist will then feel neglected in some way. If you say no to a narcissist, start creating those boundaries around the narcissist because they believe they are above others. This then makes the narcissist feel disrespected. Again, if they're caught out in something, the narcissist can feel embarrassed. And if someone was to question the narcissist about a mistake they've made or something that they've done wrong, this questions the narcissist's entitlement, and the narcissist might fear exposure for things that, although they believe they're entitled to do them, they know how other people might frown upon the things that the narcissist has done, because the narcissist themselves knows that they wouldn't want other people doing it to them, that self-entitled hypocrite where it is one rule for them and another rule for you. The do as I say and not as I do. If the narcissist is being held accountable in some way, so they feel judged. Again, boundaries, people saying no. If the narcissist then feels rejected in some way, simply because they're not getting their own way. Or if they believe that their reputation is coming under fire, is going to be questioned. And all these kinds of triggers can be real triggers, or they can be perceived triggers. They can be something that the narcissist has done, so it's real and justice is coming for them, so they need to deflect away from them and onto somebody else, often why you get the smear campaigns. Or they can just perceive that they're not getting what they believe they're entitled to, or that someone might say something negatively about them. All these sorts of things cause that narcissistic injury, cause the narcissist to feel that inner rage and that anger. And anger is a common emotion that many of us do feel. However, when a narcissist feels anger, they don't want others to see them in a bad light. Now, with certain people around them, they show their true colours to, and certain people do see them as to who they actually are. With the majority of people, they're trying to mask their true selves from other people. As to a narcissist, they're not to blame for anything, and everything that goes wrong in their life is always someone else's fault. So they want to be seen as perfect to all others. So when the narcissist has been triggered and received a narcissistic injury, this is when they are going to come at people with things like the passive aggressive behaviours, such as the silent treatments, the sulks. They might start invalidating people, they might start intimidating people. When the narcissist feels threatened in some way, they often then turn into the abuser, where they will be physically, emotionally, mentally, financially or spiritually abusive to another person in order to bring someone else down and regain their feelings of superiority, regain their feelings of entitlement, regain control of the given situation by manipulating and hurting other people. But they believe the person they are hurting is at fault because the person they are hurting hurt the narcissist, threatened the narcissist in the first place. The narcissist felt threatened due to their characteristics of the disorder. Therefore, the narcissist feels they have every right to punish the person the narcissist feels threatened them. And once the narcissist has punished the person they feel has threatened them, they will then go into the gaslighting, the projection, the blame shifting, because the narcissist themselves believes that person to be at fault. The narcissist themselves believes that the person who triggered the narcissist actually set it off, when often it's the narcissist behaviour that set off the spiral in events. It's the narcissist characteristics that set off the spiral in events. It's the narcissist lack of loyalty towards other people. It's the narcissist lack of morals. It's the narcissist sense of entitlement that actually sets it off. But the narcissist doesn't see themselves as the problem. They see the other person as the problem. So they will gaslight, project, blame shift, and blame it all on the victim. And this is often why a narcissist will use things like the bait and switch, why they will get the reactive abuse going. A narcissist feels threatened in some way. It triggers some sort of emotion, often things like fear within the narcissist. The narcissist then shifts into the mode where they have to seek revenge on the person who threatened them. This is when they go through the cycle of physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, financial abuse towards another person, and they will chip away at the other person. They will chip away at the things that matter the most to the other person, which is why it can vary from person to person, because they will use the things that the individual will most passionately defend to get a reaction from that person. Then once the narcissist has a reaction from that person, the narcissist will then go into the woe is me victim. They will go into the pity plays. They will go into the guilt trips. And they will get people blaming themselves for things that they haven't even done and making it up for the narcissist for the things that the narcissist should technically be making it up to the other person, or technically the narcissist shouldn't have even done in the first place. This is why a narcissist will go on the smear campaign to protect themselves. This is why a narcissist will lie to you, not to protect your feelings, to protect themselves. Narcissists will cheat on people to protect themselves. Narcissists, whatever they are doing, it is always to protect themselves. So there's nothing you can do as a person to no longer trigger a narcissist, because it can be a real trigger or it can be a perceived trigger by the narcissist. The only thing you can do to teach a narcissist that their behaviour isn't acceptable is no longer play, walk away, retreat, rethink, no longer respond to them if at all possible, going no contact, limited contact, grey rock. The more we forgive them, the more they blame us. And often the more we forgive them, the worse their behaviour gets, because the more they learn that they can get away with it, the more it feeds their sense of superiority, the more it feeds their sense of entitlement, the more we supply them with that attention, the more we feed who the narcissist is as a person, and the worse they get. So when it comes to anger, which is often what sets a narcissist off, they've had that trigger, they've got that inner anger, which is what will set them off. And anger is a common emotion that we all feel. We can all get angry when we are being provoked, when we are being baited, when we are being judged, when we are being criticised, just like a narcissist can get angry. We can all get angry. When with a narcissist, it's often because it's questioning their sense of entitlement and it's questioning their superiority. With us, it's because we feel like we're being taken advantage of. We feel like someone is letting us down. We feel like somebody is hurting us. We feel like somebody is using us. We feel like somebody isn't listening to us. And yes, a narcissist can feel these things too. The difference being with most people, they are trying to communicate with others and reach that mutual compromise, reach that understanding. They have the empathetic skills to care for how another person might feel. With a narcissist, they lack the empathy to care for how another might feel. In that moment, the only person they are thinking about is themselves. And when it comes to anger, we can handle anger in several different ways. When we're feeling frustrated, we can direct our anger towards other people, which is often what a narcissist will do. They will rage out of nowhere and then twist it and spin the story to blame the other person. When it comes to feelings of frustration and anger, we can take our anger out on other people. And no one is really exempt from this. Most people can at some point have taken their anger out on other people, especially those they believe have caused that frustration within themselves in the first place. Or we can direct our anger at ourselves. We can blame ourselves in lots of different ways over lots of different scenarios. We can take it out on ourselves, and we can always find a way to blame ourselves for things that we haven't even done. Now, a narcissist will rarely do this because they don't see themselves as the problem. They don't recognise the errors within their own behaviour. However, they recognise the errors within their own behaviour within you. So anything the narcissist does wrong, they recognise it as you that has done it wrong, and they often project those feelings into you. So then when it comes to blaming yourself, because you've had their mistakes projected into you, you're often blaming yourself for things that the narcissist has actually done to you. And then all people can, when they're feeling sad or low or in pain in some way, they can mask those feelings of sadness as anger because they don't want to be seen as vulnerable around people, or a narcissist in particular doesn't want to recognise themselves as having vulnerabilities, so they will mask their sadness, they will mask any pain, they will mask any criticism as the emotion of anger, and they will rage at other people to bring other people down, to remove that feeling of sadness from within themselves. Narcissists often mask their own insecurities. When they get triggered, it's often one of their very insecurities that's been triggered, and then they mask that insecurity as anger. They rage, they take it out on other people, then they blame the other person. And you can't try explaining this to them because it'll just trigger more resentment within the narcissist. The narcissist will just perceive it as you going against them. However, because we are aware of our own behaviour, because we can learn how we act and behave, and because we can learn how they act and behave, we can change ourselves. Everybody can change. The thing is, people have to want to change for themselves, and in order to change, people have to recognise what they need to change within themselves to change, which are two vital ingredients that a narcissist is missing in order to change. They don't recognise what within themselves they would need to change, and they don't see themselves as the problem. Therefore, they don't see why they should have to change. They see other people as the problem, so they believe that other people should change. You might have changed yourself time and time again to suit them, and it's never happened. They might come at you with false promises of change, but it's only ever again to meet a need of their own because of their sense of superiority, their sense of entitlement, and their lack of empathy to care, and their willingness to exploit people to get their own needs met. When it comes to us, however, a narcissist is very good at triggering feelings of frustration, feelings of anger, feelings of resentment within us. We can start to recognise these triggers. We can recognise our emotions. We can recognise that we are being provoked or baited. We can recognise what manipulation method they are using to bait or provoke us, and then we can take action. We can recognise that in some way they are trying to bring down one of our boundaries, or they are trying to question our character in order to meet a need of their own, in order to take down one of our boundaries. They are trying to push our buttons to get us to react so that they can blame us in order for us to feel guilty and take down one of our boundaries. Most often, a narcissist is provoking those feelings within us because they didn't get their own way. So they are trying to take down one of our boundaries. Boundaries, I'll have the video up here, are based on our values and our beliefs. So once we learn our values, we learn our beliefs, and we no longer let people step over those boundaries. We can recognise that people are triggering those emotions. We can then recognise what boundary they are going to cross. When we are starting to feel emotions such as anger, frustration and resentment, this is when we need to retreat away from the situation to take the power away from the narcissist. When we stay in that situation, when we give them what they want, we are giving our power to them to control us via our emotions. So we have got to gain the intelligence of our own emotions and what our emotions are telling us, and then act through what that emotion has told us. Feelings aren't fact. Thoughts aren't always fact. So we can alter our thoughts to alter our feelings, to alter our reactions. So when you feel the signal coming on, you might be able to, which is what you will most often try with a narcissist, verbally explain yourself for them to chip and chip and chip away. This is when you've got to recognise that if you've explained yourself once to someone and they are unwilling to listen to you, that is on them. People who cared about you would not need you to keep repeating your explanations. People who lie to you is often when you keep asking them something, because they are lying to you and you have a sense that they are lying. And if you need to keep asking someone for clarity, you need to step away from the situation and give yourself that clarity, because their answers are going to, if they're lying to you, they're going to provoke that frustration, they're going to provoke that anger. If you're in the situation and you can't retreat so easily, focus on your breathing, focus on a happy moment of yours, focus on something else to not allow them to trigger your anger. Always stay safe. If you can be assertive in your responses, be assertive in your responses. With a narcissist, again, being assertive to a narcissist questions their entitlement, it questions their sense of superiority, it questions their beliefs of who they are as a person, which is often when they are then going to come at you. So it's not always wise to be assertive. And when you cannot state your boundaries to someone, this is when you've got to recognise within yourself that it's time to step away from that person, because that person is only going to bring you negativity. That person is only going to bring you pain. That person is only going to let you down. At some point we have to walk away from those who are happy to walk away from us when we need them the most, but happy to exploit us when they need us the most. If anyone else has any triggers within a narcissist that they have recognised, or that how they've handled that situation, please do drop it into the comments to help others that are currently going through it or might be going through it in the future. Thank you very much for listening. I shall add in the description the video that explains more on narcissistic injury, narcissistic rage and our boundaries. Thank you for listening, and go out there and create the day that you deserve, because you do deserve to have a brilliant day. Bye.